All right, so the first lesson in this statistics unit is on titled Exploring Data. All right, so basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a bunch of data, which are like numbers, all right, and we're going to do some calculations with them, all right. So characteristics of data, there's four that I'm going to go over, all right. The first one is range. And what the range does is it measures the spread of the data. Okay, so to calculate the range of a data, basically we take the maximum value or the biggest value and subtract the minimum or the smallest value. Okay, and then when we subtract that, that gives us the range of the numbers. Okay, which kind of makes sense, right? So we talk about a range. The next is mean. Okay, mean is average. So basically what we do is we add up all the numbers. And we want the average value, so we add them all up, and then we divide by the number of values. Okay. Median is middle, so the middle value. So whatever, when we put this in order, these values in order, the middle value is the median. All right. So way to remember median is like, I guess on a road, right? The median is the middle, right? You don't want to drive over the median. So, so median is basically the middle, and the third one, or the third M, is mode. Okay, and that one is which value shows up most often. All right, so so what I'm going to do here is just first example, we got this set of data here. I'm going to calculate and figure out each one of these four things. All right, so we're going to find the range, the mean, median, and mode. Okay, so when we're doing these, so we're calculating these numbers, what we want to do first is actually we want to order the data from least to greatest. All right, so step one is to put the data, right, the numbers in order. All right, so first here, I want to look for the lowest numbers here, which looks like it's the 2. All right, so 2, I'm just going to cross them off as I go along. Then we have a 3. Next value is 4. And then we have a 5. Now what you'll notice here is that we actually have 5 twice. So I'm going to write it down twice. Okay, that's important. Okay, so if a number shows up more than once, you have to write it down. The number of times that it does show up. Okay, so 5 shows up twice here, you can see. So I'm going to write 5 twice. Then we have a 6. Easier to calculate and find these things. All right, so that's step 1. All right, so step 2, let's find the range. Okay, so the range again is the spread. All right, so basically we're going to take the max value and subtract the minimum. Now in this case, since we have it in order now, you can see that the max value here is 12 and the minimum is 2. So I'm going to go 12 minus 2, which is equal to 10. Okay, so the range of this data here is equal to 10. Okay, it's the how far spread out there. All right, so from 12 minus 2, which is 10. So next one, mean. Okay, so next up, I'll call it step 3. To get the mean is the average. Okay, so to get the average, what we need to do is we need to actually add up all the data and then divide by the number of values. Okay, so I'm going to write this out as an equation. You don't necessarily have to do this step, but I'm just going to write it out just to make it clear. Okay, but it's actually, yeah, if you want to just add it up in your calculator, you don't have to rewrite the stuff or anything like that. But I'm just writing it out this one time just so that you guys can see exactly what's happening. Okay, so I'm adding up all the values in the data set, but then to that I need to divide by the number of items. Okay, so there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 items. So I'm going to take, once I add it up, I'm going to divide by 11. Okay, so this is going to equal, and for this, I am going to open up the calculator here. All right. And let's see here. All right, so 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5, 6, 9, 9, 9, 9, and 12. Okay, so when we add up all those numbers, we should get 73. It's going to be 73 over 11. So basically 73 divided by 11, which is equal to 6.63. All right, so we'll just round to 6.6. Okay, so this would be the mean or the average. Okay. All right, I just want to do a quick check here. So that's 5, 9, 19, 25, 34, 43, 52, 61, 73. Okay, yeah, just want to make sure I added that up. All right, so the mean here, the average is 6.6. All right, next up, we want to find the median. All right, so step 4. Basically, we want to find the median, which is the middle value. All right, so to do that, I'm just going to scroll it back to the data that we put in order. And notice that we counted 11, right? So there's 11. So what that means is that if I take 11 divided by 2, that's 5.5. So basically what that means is I'm going to count the first 5 here. I'm just going to kind of box this off here. And then I'm going to count the last 5. Right, and so since I got 5 on this side, 5 on that side, you can see that the middle or the median one here is 6. All right, so this works when it's an odd number, right? So some of you guys might be wondering, well, what happens if there's no middle, right? What if there's an even number of data? If that's the case, then what you need to do is actually add the 2 middle ones and then divide by 2, or in other words, take the average of the 2 middle ones. But anyways, that will show up in our next example here, where I have an even number of data points. All right, so anyways, when it comes to odd ones, there's going to be a clear middle one. Okay, so so in this case, the median here is equal to 6. All right, and then the last step, step 5, I want to find the mode. And again, the mode is the one that shows up most often. All right, so and when you put it in order, let me just kind of, I'm going to erase these boxes here. So when you put them in order, what ends up happening is it's actually easy to see which one shows up the most often. All right, so you can see here 9 shows up 4 times, right? 5 shows up twice, everything else shows up once. So our mode here would be equal to 9. All right, so there we go. Okay, so that's the range, mean, median, mode of this set of data. All right, the key thing again here is just to put it in order from least to greatest. All right, cool. So let's do the next one, this next example. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put this in order from least to greatest. So my smallest value here would be 4, right? So I got 4 once, I got 4 again. Then we have 7, 8, 8, and then 13. All right. It's supposed to be a 3 there. Okay, so the range, again, is the maximum minus the minimum. So in this case, it's going to be 13 minus 4, which is equal to 9. Okay, so the range in this case is 9. Mean is the average. So we're just going to add these up. 4 plus 4 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 13. And to this, we need to divide by the number of data points, which is 6. All right, so there's 6 numbers here. We're going to divide it by 6. All right, so let's just do that over here on the calculator. 4 plus 4 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 13. Okay, so the total there was 44. And we've got to divide that by 6. So the mean here is going to equal, we'll round that to 7.3. Okay, so this has a mean of 7.3. Cool. What next? Median is the middle one. All right, so median here, we can see that there's 6 values, right? So, so this is the case where we have an even number of data points. So if I was to, like, square off the first 3, square off the last 3, notice that there's no number in front, no number in the middle because it's an even number. So if that's the case, what we need to do here, let me just erase these boxes, is you're going to take the middle 2 and basically average it out. Okay, so the median in this case is going to be 7 plus 8 divided by 2. Okay, so you're going to take the average of the 2 middle ones. Okay, so you could probably do that in your head, right? You could probably say, oh, that's 7.5, obviously. It's halfway, which is true, right? But another way to do it is 7 plus 8 and then divide by 2. So that would be 15 divided by 2, which is 7.5. Okay. So what you'll notice too, the median here, it actually doesn't show up in the set of data, right? Which is fine. So it is possible to have a median without it actually showing up in the set of data. It's because you're taking the average of the middle 2 terms. All right. And finally, the mode. Mode is the one that shows up most often. All right. So just erase this box here. So the thing with this one here is you notice that 4 shows up twice, as does 8. Okay, so there is no actual number that shows up most often. All right, so in this case, we're tied, right? 2 and 2. So therefore, there is no mode. Okay, so there is no mode, right? Since the number 2 shows up twice, as does the number, what number was that? Number 8. Okay, so since there is no like clear-cut number that shows up most often, right? It's kind of tied. In this case, there is no mode for this data. All right, cool. So that's it. Yep, so that's the lesson on the exploring data. All right. Yeah, so please refer to the assignment sheet for the practice questions for this lesson out of the textbook. Cheers.